talk yours, cause I'ma talk mine. We talking that talk, yeah, it's about time. You can talk yours and I'ma talk mine. We talking that talk, yeah, it's about time.
What it do, man? Welcome to another episode of Talk That Talk TV podcast. It's your boy Boss B, man. This podcast right here is for us talking that talk for those people that you don't get a chance to, get that notoriety or notice of people that really be putting on, like for St. Louis and all over, all over the world. But my podcast is really for, the foundation of my city, of people I know that really give back, who really put on for what I appreciate they do around St. Louis, but other things too. So situations get real on Talk That Talk, because we really get to talking that talking, and no shortcuts, no curve balls. No, we going straight forward, no full blooded with really getting in depth with what we talking about. So that's why I really appreciate, and I'm really specific about the guests that I get on Talk That Talk that's able to talk that talk. So today on Talk That Talk, man, I got a real good friend of mine, man. I've been knowing this guy a long time, man. This guy really came from, when they really say nigga came from the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Now we at the top, he really did that. We really did that, you know what I'm saying? To see a nigga go from, on the other side of the coin to real being a real positive guy in the neighborhood, in the community. This guy's been on TV. This guy's got multiple things going on. He's really a genuine guy and a real a guy that's, I don't think a lot of people know, but they do. But I want to give him his flowers now, and I appreciate him, man. It's my boy Jason Watson, man. Elevate, if you ain't hip, man, to elevate. You probably didn't see this guy on the news and doing multiple things, because this guy's a jack of all trades. So I wanted to just, give him his flowers now and show my nigga I appreciate you, man.
Love.
You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing this guy for a long time. This nigga was really thugging. You know what I'm saying? Really out here, nigga, with what they doing now, this guy was really doing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey,
thugging for real, like to be, in executive positions now, teaching and preaching and giving game and giving back, from what he came from, man. That's a blessing in its own, you know
really
what I'm saying?
Is.
So I appreciate you coming on here to be able to get some more game, you know what I'm saying? To be able
Sure.
to maybe help somebody else elevate, you know what I'm saying? Help somebody else,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Give the gift of gab. So I want to give you the floor to you to be able to tell them what you got going on and what, you know what I'm saying, what you really bring to, elevating around her, you know what I'm saying? So,
Man, it's crazy, man. One, thanks for having me. It's we was just talking off camera. Like, we really done already done this show, y'all, for real. We running it back for y'all real quick, because we just was sitting here chopping it up anyway. But, it do feel good, man, to look back at where I've come from and to see where I am now, but also to see others that I'm able to, have impact on. But also see the people who had impact on me that I ain't even realize was really game that was being given to me. And at the time, maybe I was too young, too ignorant to be able to soak up that game the right way. But now I apply that game, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to all the other leaders, because I ain't the only dude in the city that's doing this. It's a lot of people making investments, and, that definitely deserve their flowers, that made investments in me, that's been doing this long before I have. But I am thankful, you know what I mean, to be in a position that I'm in, for sure. But we go back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Way back. You know what I'm saying?
To buying a half ounce before school in the Vacos, in the bandos, for real, before they was really talking that bando
with
talk.
Jugs and juice.
Yeah, like we was really in the bando.
Straight up.
St. Louis, the police, nigga, we jumping out the bando, going to school, like missing first and second period, like you was always been a leader though, you know what I'm saying? We was always following Lil G, like we mobbing down St. Louis Avenue, Vanderbilt over them days, like somewhere we wasn't even supposed to even be at, you know what I'm saying? We supposed to be in school, we was being knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying? But me and you always was tight, you know what I'm saying? Even though, you know what I'm saying? We was on that game, basically, y'all was two
different
crips,
zones.
You know what I'm saying? We was throwing up the B, but but we always, I don't know what it was. We just clicked, you know what I'm saying? Me, you, Lil Deuce, and a few more, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Lil Ronald. It's a lot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas we lost back in the day that was thugging. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They really didn't get a chance to sit around. So when I see
they can talk that talk with us.
They can really talk that talk.
They can talk that talk
So when I be telling my guys, like my TBT, like all the guys, I be telling them about you all the time, like, man, y'all don't know Lil G, man. That's what I know. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, definitely.
So when I see you do the Elevate thing and just see you, you know what I'm saying, doing your thing on TV and, you know what I'm saying, being a great father and, you know what I'm saying, being inspirational to the streets, you know what I'm saying, before, you know what I'm saying, inspirational to the streets on both sides, you know what I'm saying? So I be just trying to tell, like, you one of them ones. So I be like, yeah, Lil G, when I see the Elevate, even though I ain't got my shirt, but you know what I'm saying, you still my cat, because we's bigger than that. It's bigger than the shirt I had. We always been saying for months and months and months that we need to get together and click.
This is something we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know, being in high school, we used to rap. You know what I mean? Just love making music. We'd be in the lunchroom starting ciphers, and you know what we used to. Hey, that was what we used to call this nigga E40. You know what I mean?
Back then, like on me.
Hey,
I forgot about that though. Like you just killed me. In the lunchroom starting the real ciphers.
Straight ciphers. Like you know what I mean?
Doing that though.
Real talk. You know, so I even think about that just being dumb. I was just saying off camera, man, one of the things that I don't regret a lot in life, I feel like everything that I done experienced and been through has made me who I am. It's shaped my character. It's shaped, you know, the way that I see life and the way that I view people and all of those things. But I regret not graduating high school. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I feel like I did not graduate because I was dumb or something. It just was, I wasn't willing to apply myself. More importantly, I felt like the streets was so much more attractive. You know what I'm saying? In my head, like literally, like statistically, you supposed to die by a certain age. So it didn't make sense to apply myself in school because it was like, I might not even be here.
Right, to even do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we was young, losing people that we love. You know what I'm saying? Like, and knowing what that felt like. So I feel like, you know, experiencing some of those things, like they shaped who I am. But I wish I would have graduated high school, but I ain't graduated high school. I went from Beaumont to Tri-A, you know, caught my first little case at Tri-A, you know, and just was wilding, you know, and a lot of those things that we did, I think, came from the mindset in which we live.
So I think you used that to transition over to Elevate. Mm-hmm. Because you was at a point where you felt like you wasn't gonna make it.
Facts.
So when you made it, you couldn't do nothing but you was down for so long.
Man.
So you couldn't do nothing but, you know what I'm saying, nothing stays the same, you know what I'm saying? Everything got to change. Even the world, the life days, nothing, you'll never get that day again. So with you elevating and being able to use your tools to spread to others with positive and great, you know what I'm saying, you teaching people to be able to work cameras, and you ain't never went to school, ITT Tech ranking to the third. No, that's a blessing in its own by yourself, and that's just on how you even learn that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so one of the things that I learned, man, is that like really you could do anything you want to do. You just really got to apply yourself. So I had all of these different skills that I didn't even realize was really skills for real.
Right.
You know, come from selling dope and growing, like when I grew up, like I think about growing up, I'm from Walnut Park. So no matter where I stayed, when I was old enough, I caught the bus back to Walnut Park. You know what I'm saying? But I done lived all around the city.
Right.
So, you know, I think that taught me how to adapt in different environments. You know, when you in St. Louis, you go, every new school you go to, you got to do what? Fight. Every school you go to. You go to a new school in a new neighborhood, you gonna fight. At some point at
somebody
that school.
Want to see what's up with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a part of what's gonna happen. You already know that's just what's gonna happen. As long as you do what you gotta do, win, lose, draw, you good. You know what I mean? You gonna survive. So, you know, you learn that, and what we learning while we young in those types of environments is how to adapt. So we learning how to adapt in different environments. So you going from one set to another set. You might not be old enough to realize you in different sets yet, but you in different spaces with different people that move in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are things that you those are things that I was able to learn that I really can apply this anywhere.
So with you having, how many sons you got, G?
I got 3.
You got 3 sons. How do
Three boys.
you instill that game with your experiences with your sons to make sure they don't go out and have those, you know what I'm saying, make those mistakes like you did?
Yeah, so one of the things I do is be very honest with my kids. Like me and my sons, like we close. Like
Yeah,
close,
I
like
see that.
and I don't know, like we close,
Yeah.
like, you know. So I think one of the things that was important for me with raising my sons was, now honestly, at the point that they was real young, I was so inactive. Like I wasn't active, and they never even seen me in no street
ain't seen
activity.
no
You know,
smoke.
my oldest has been in some situations. You know what I mean? Like I didn't been in a shootout with him or stuff, but he 25. You know what I mean? He was 4 at the time. He don't even remember that. You know what I mean? But the rest of my kids have never even seen no type of activity from me in the streets. So they don't even know that person. They just hear stories when it's they uncles and stuff like that. But I say all that to say, like, conversation with them, man. Like we do a lot of talking. You know, like we do a lot of talking and really putting them in position. So like my 19-year-old, you know, when he was in high school, when he was finna go to high school, I'm like, man, listen, you should do a half a day at Tech. You know, he focused on football, but I'm like, you can still do football, but you need to do this half a day at Tech. He really didn't want to do it. So I'm like, you know what, I ain't finna just force you. Really, I'm finna force you. But before I force you, you know what I'm saying, I took him. They had a little tour there. I took him there, like took him around the school, let him check it out. He like, you know what, like this straight actually interests me. So he ended up doing that. You know, he done graduated now. Since through that, he was able to do an internship. He got hired as SLU. You know what I mean? Like, and he making like, you know, good money for a 19-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I understand that we, you know, like he could go chase whatever he want to chase. You know, when your kids old enough to make whatever decisions they make. But I think it's about having conversations with them and just being real with them. You know what I mean? About no matter what it is.
So when they hear the stories, do they believe it? Do they say, Daddy, you ain't did that? Or do they really believe what, you know?
No, they know, like, because I'm still around, you know. I ain't never not around the people I love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So me making certain decisions, I ain't here to knock nobody for whatever decisions they make. I told you off camera, starving people eat. You can't never tell a person how to eat when they starving.
Well, you can't,
you know what I mean? Especially if you're not going to give them another way to get a plate. You feel me? So if you ain't going to give me some other options, like, don't come talking to me about what I need to do. You know what I mean? Because you ain't giving me no options.
Right. You ain't helping me
you
get
feel
a bigger
me?
bag.
Yeah. You ain't giving me no thoughts. At least give me some type of other
input,
journey, something.
Something.
Otherwise, you just telling me to stop eating. And that don't make sense to nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with the people that I'm around and, you know, being able to always be attached to those people that you love, it keep you grounded. You know what I mean? And it keep you in a certain space. So they know me. Like, I'm still the same dude. Like, I tell them I will still whoop you. Like, this is not.
I still will whoop you.
Like, they know, like, this is not. But we don't even have them problems.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, the way that now my oldest, I have had to whoop him one time. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I did. You know, when they get about, like, you know, when we get about 15, 16, like, we be feeling like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, nah, you don't want that smoke.
Oh, man.
You know, but man, like, I think a lot of that come from them just seeing who I am. Like, they know who I really am. I'm the same dude. So even though I'm quote unquote in the executive world, like, I don't do a lot of code switching. So people that know me know that even in that world, in boardrooms, and that's important to me because I feel like, one, that's really who I am. You know what I mean? I don't know how to, you know, I have the gift to communicate and people appreciate that. Like, I could take a thought and unpack it for people that may not understand where we come from and why we make the decisions we make. So I think it's important for that to reflect in how I move. So when they see you, like, they see you as an executive too. Don't matter what you got on or what your lingo is. That don't mean you're not articulate or you can't express yourself or you don't know how to communicate. You know what I mean? So really just trying to reshape what it looks like in that world. So I'm intentional about what I dress and how I am and how I talk and not being different in that, but still being respectful. You know what I'm saying?
That's game. So when did you really just like, so when did you really establish the brand Elevate? When did you really
Yeah,
establish
so
that?
we established Elevate 3 years ago. So me, my brother, KD,
Shout out to
you
KD.
know,
Yeah,
love,
yeah.
and the rest of the team. So it's a team of us: KD, Cujo, CJ, Mike, YG. So it really just kind of came from this idea that in order to obtain anything, you have to elevate. And the sky's not a limit. Like you can grab anything that you want to. So I ended up just sitting, kind of having deep thoughts around that. Reached out to a good friend of mine, and he was able to kind of craft us a mascot. You know, who was on the shirt now.
Right.
We call him Gravity, and the reason we call him Gravity is because the only thing holding you down is yourself. You know what I mean? So that's the whole premise of the brand. You know what I mean? That the only thing holding you down is yourself. Like you free to go grind and get whatever you want to. You know what I'm
Yeah, for
saying?
sure.
Like there is no reason nobody shouldn't be trying to get to something right now. It's just it don't make sense. So really the idea is that it's possible. But what I believe is more when you invest in others, you invest in yourself. So the idea is we don't hoard resources. We ain't trying to keep people from what we got. Like if I got something you need, then here, like take advantage of
Right.
it. Because
That's
if I
what
in
it's supposed to
doing
be.
so, you supposed to grow.
Right,
Then hopefully
exactly.
you get some resources I don't got, and you double back like, yo, like I know you needed X, Y, Z, and I ain't even talking about monetary all the time. Sometimes it's just game. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just need a different way of thinking. Sometimes we need a strategy for what we doing. We need somebody to help us see something a little bit differently. So sometimes it's games. Sometimes it's networking opportunities. You know what I mean? It's somebody you know. You know what I mean? So I look at the corporate world just like I look at the dope game. You know, it's the exact same thing. Like it's just different words. So you tell a dude like, man, you know how to network. He like, man, I don't really like talking to people. But if a dude want to smoke some weed, you could put him in any city. I guarantee you he gonna find some weed. Just drop him off so he ain't gotta know nobody. None of that. That's networking. That means you gonna be able to know, walk up, have the right conversation with the right people.
Know exactly
You know what I
what to
mean?
say.
Till you feel comfortable, that you feel like they got whatever you need. That's networking. It's the same thing in corporate America, except you might not be networking for a drug. You networking for a resource, something that they have access to, a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, so you networking for different purposes. You know what I mean? So I think that some of that game, like understanding that and learning that, has kind of helped me navigate in that world.
So with Elevate, what's like the ultimate goal with what I'm saying, the old brand and
Yeah.
with Gravity and the things that you really want to do with it, like to take it to where you want to take it to.
Definitely. So for us, Elevate really just is really about taking different ideas and trying to incorporate them into a pot. Because again, you invest in others, you invest in yourself. So number one, we started with just hoodies. We got hoodies that you can go grab. You can check us out or follow us on Instagram at Elevate is Key. But also from there, the idea is to continue to build out that brand. So we want to have different types of products. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then two, I think it's really a lifestyle. So what I really feel like is we not really trying to sell a product as much as we trying to sell a way of life. You know what I mean? Like, what does it really look like for yourself to elevate? What does it really look like to go from point A to point B? So a lot of what we want to do is kind of create messages around that. You know what I mean? So you'll be seeing, I got ideas for books, you know what I mean? Things like that, to really, and not film as in movie, but short films, you know what I mean? Like things that help people kind of think about, like, how do you go from this point to this point? As I feel like a lot of what individuals need to elevate is to know what it means to get there. Like, what are some avenues that I can actually take? So I think that it's more than a product we trying to sell as much as we trying to promote a lifestyle that says, like, show love to others so that it comes in return. Like, when I saw the podcast, I'm like, oh, that's love.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's time
like,
for us, man. So, like, that's why, like I said, I really want to have people like that, like you, man, that's really influential to a lot of people, that does a lot of things, that got a real good, you know what I'm saying, story to really tell people like it can be done. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? You don't gotta necessarily go this way to get that way. You really can start from this way and really turn another cheek, man, and really turn your whole life around, man, and do something positive, man, be impactful, man, on people like you do, man, like you saying you in executive positions with no technical education. That is like, you know what I'm saying, like how does that happen? You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
only happens for people that's really blessed and talented and, you know what I'm saying, really smart and has the knowledge to even know that, to be able to put, like you said, be in the room with those type of people to even have those conversations.
But it's also about knowing your worth and knowing your value. You know what I
people
mean?
don't do
And
that
then
too.
recognizing
People
your
don't be doing
and
that.
then recognizing your gift. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like I didn't go to school for communication, but this is something I naturally do. So also you start statistically, dog, you find out that I think it's around 86% of Americans are afraid to do public things. Get on a stage and talk to people. Get in front of a camera and communicate. Like most people don't like speaking to a crowd. You know what I mean? So what that means is there is a market for the person who naturally know how to do that. And not just know how to do it, but good at it. They
Right,
enjoy
yeah.
it. There's a market for that person because most people don't even like. So it ain't even about going to school and learning communication. It's about even having the guts to be willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right
to get in
about
front
that.
of a stage and be able to give a presentation in front of 1,000 people, a lot of people ain't.
Yeah.
They just ain't cut. Like that ain't
Ain't
what
built
they
for
do.
that, nah, for sure.
So one of the things that I try to express in that space is like, not that I can't do paperwork or nothing like that, but if a person asks you like, yeah, you don't do a lot of paperwork, I'm like, well, you don't get in front of 500 people and speak. You know what I mean? So the idea is that this is a skill that's necessary. You know, so for my organization, you know, what I primarily do, I'm currently the senior VP of engagement, but I used to be over all of our workforce development. So Mission St. Louis primarily focuses on workforce development and education. Okay. So we're integrated in a few schools. We provide an individualized plan that focuses on literacy and math to get kids to grade level by the time that they leave that school. So that's one of our focuses. And then workforce development, the primary focus is really working with individuals who then came out of jail, prison, really just trying to move into a career opportunity.
Real.
So we'll work with them, provide wraparound services, and then connect them to employment opportunities that can turn into a career. So that's really a lot of what we do, primarily within Mission St. Louis. And then my arm now with engagement is trying to provide different touch points for individuals to kind of get connected to what we do. So that's using the art. So I have like podcast equipment, like what you doing. So currently we inside of a school, like we teach kids podcasting. I'm also in partnership with the two other organizations, Mentors in Motion, and as well as Beat Clinic. And we go in, we teach kids music, podcasting, stuff like that. But in our building, I also have all this podcast equipment. So I got podcast equipment, I got music studio that really I give people access to. So somebody want to come, they like, man, I really had a desire to get involved in the arts. Well, all right, let's talk about that. Like, I done let people use the studio for free, no charge, you know what I mean? Like, so really my goal is how can I give you access to something to keep you from doing something that could lead you to a path that really ain't gonna take you nowhere. You know, or just give you options. Like I said, you can't talk to nobody about how they eating if you're not gonna give them an option for a different way to get a plate. So I think that's a lot of what we do. So then we do entrepreneurship. So I have a class that we call Invest Me, where we'll build out a person a project plan. We'll build out a person a project plan. They come and they able to work out their project plan. Say you want to start a book, build a business, whatever that may be. You know what I mean? And we'll work with you around that. It's free. It don't cost you nothing to do that. You know, then on the flip side, you know, having access to cameras and people who want to do photography, want to do videography, stuff like that. So how can we provide that support to them as well?
Okay, so have you ever thought about, you know, like really going into like prisons and detention centers and talking to the youth and talking to giving your story, because like I say, you gotta
Definitely.
you know what I'm saying, you got a story to tell those that people can be inspirational for those that like damn, they can be like, this guy right here could change his life. He got a train of thought that's a
Yeah,
little different. Now
yeah.
that he can go in a different direction. That he can be, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit right there can go a long way.
Yeah.
You know, with conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
Telling
facts.
somebody your story because it's so many of you. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Of all of us. So we all got a story to tell them. But sometimes it just take for that person to be like, he got the same story as
Yeah.
me. He went through the same thing as me, and he's doing something that I. So if he did, I know I could.
I
do
know
it.
I could do it.
You
Yeah,
know
I
what
do
I'm
that
saying?
all
So-
the time, man. Go DYS.
Oh,
like,
okay,
you know, I
okay,
done been in the
okay.
jails. Like I used to I crafted a program inside of the jails. I was in the Justo for a while.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Teaching a program there. I done been in the workhouse before it closed down, teaching a program there. You know what I mean?
yeah, you been
So
moving.
yeah, like I be, you know, cause I understand, like, you know, when people see me and see some of the stuff I do, you might see me in a suit, you might see me with however you might see me.
Right.
You may not know exactly where I come from. You know that I was 14 years old snorting heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like a kid, you know. So and doing a bunch of other stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so hustling, the idea of what it felt like to try to, like, I tell people all the time, I loved everything about hustling. You know what I mean? Copping dope, cooking dope, bagging dope, everything that came along with the
addiction right
lifestyle.
there, right in the way.
You know what I'm saying? And more importantly, I love the people around me. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what, you know, keep us attracted to that. But what I did realize though was that all those things that I had that I was learning in the street environments was also transferable in this world that I'm in now. So I look at everything like I did in the streets. You know what I mean? It
Right.
just applies itself a little bit differently.
So, do you tell like the corporate world? Do they actually know?
Oh yeah. I tell my story, bro. Like, so I tell people all the time. Number one, your story is your greatest asset.
For
You know what I
sure,
mean? Like,
sure.
you own it. Don't nobody know
Yeah,
it like
for sure,
you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And like you say, we all got a story to tell. You know what I mean? And mine happened to be what it is. And one, I'm not ashamed or afraid of my story because who I am is who built me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, in those spaces, now I ain't just running up on people like, yeah, you know I done been in jail for X amount of, you know what I mean? Or, you know, stuff like that. But however, like, you know, I get the opportunity to go and speak to a lot of executives in different spaces. I've had the opportunity to train corporate companies, you know what I mean, around social justice, you know what I mean, around cultural humility. And in those spaces, what I try to do, number one, is tell my story, but more importantly, share with them that some of the decisions that we end up making come from environments and circumstances that we find ourselves in. And I really get the opportunity. I do a lot of what they call DI. I do a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion work. So, like, in so doing, because I come from it, I'm able to put them in situations where they have to make decisions like we would make decisions. And in those speeches and presentations that I give, I was just in Columbia, you know what I mean, giving a presentation to a region of community health workers, you know what I mean? Yeah, so, you know, I done spoke in a lot of different places around a lot of what I do. I say that to say, so what I get to do in those spaces is put them in the positions that we find ourselves in and ask them what decision would they make.
do, right.
You know what I'm saying? And really say that the only way you could really serve people properly is if you put yourself in their shoes, you know what I mean, and understand what could cause them to make some of those decisions. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's deep right there. Like, that's putting them on the other side. Like,
Yeah.
making them see. Like, yeah, you're right. I have to think about why you did what you did. Cause I had to put myself in your shoes. So that's a good person. That's a good thought for somebody to even get that thought in their brain. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good mental game. Right
And
there.
I got to deal with the racial aspect that come
That's
along
a
with
good
it in
mental
some
game.
spaces. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so that's real. You know what I mean? Like, you enter into some spaces and you already know that people look at you a certain way. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
Because of how you might look. Until you start communicating, and then they like, man,
This
you know what I
guy's
mean?
different.
Like, this guy's different.
Yeah, right.
You know, and like I say, in those spaces, I don't change a lot of my lingo. My hers and theirs be the same. Like, and I'm intentional with that though, because again, for me, I represent who I am and where I come from. So I feel like there's a way to do those things and still be respectful in those spaces, but maintain my personality. Like who I am.
Right,
so how I'm
sure.
talking now, like I ain't saying I'm in front of people cussing and doing, stuff like that. But I am saying that my lingo and how I communicate and the way that I talk is just natural to me. So how can I let you know that I not let you know, but by in so doing, you still gonna see that I'm intelligent. You know what I mean? That I can communicate, I can articulate myself. I just do it differently. So in those spaces, I try to maintain who I am as much as possible.
That's why you are who you are. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
You standing on what you standing on. You standing on the business. You being organic. You are who you are, and that's what's wrong with this world today. Everybody's trying to be something that they're not. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't born in it. Most of them was sworn in it. You know what I'm saying? So you can read right through the fakeness of what be going on today. So I really can't. I'm from the old school.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
definitely.
I got an old soul. I'm sticking to my guns, to what got me to these 40 years that I'm blessed to see, and I hope I get to see 40 more.
Definitely.
So I'm just gonna. I feel like sticking to the game, like learning from the old heads, and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
going through the trials and tribulations and the being locked up and those times being at your lowest point really do make us real guys and make you real strong and real make you more mental and strength in your mind more than anything, because when you at that bottom, it ain't really about, you know what I'm saying, your finances. It ain't really about, it's really about it. Can you stand the test of time with this? You know what I'm saying? If your brain ain't strong, you already lost the battle. So a lot of people ain't strong mental. So that's why mental illness is so bad.
Yeah,
You got the
real talk.
mental illness mixed with the narcotics,
Facts.
mixed with the depression, mixed with all those things, and that's a concoction, that's an explosion for, you know what I'm saying. So when you see somebody on the corner, you don't know they struggle.
Yeah.
You don't know what they really going through for real. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So you can't always call it, he crazy. He might be crazy. He might have been in the military, you know what I'm saying? He might have been anything. You know,
Definitely.
he's up, you know what I'm saying? So
He might have had whatever experiences that caused him to be in that particular space. You know, like, and some of it, like when we talk about, when we talk about experiences in life, dog, like, which is what we talking about, like, you think about memories, like, you think about the things that we go through, like, life is, like, there is no escaping hardships in life. Like, there is no navigating away from it.
Right.
So when we talking about mental health, what we really talking about is how do we manage our emotions? We talking about emotional maturity before we even get to the mental health piece, because there's some individuals we know that your issue ain't even a mental health issue. Your issue just you don't know how to manage your emotions. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't popped off and done something that now that I'm old, I'm like, dog, like I ain't even have to. That wasn't even necessary.
Yeah.
I've learned that if somebody come to me with a certain energy, I got two options. I could give that energy back and take it. Because if you give them the energy back, what's gonna happen is they gonna get the energy back even more. So I've learned that it don't make me soft if you give me a certain type of energy, and instead of me giving you that energy back, I'm like, I'm gonna take the energy up. I'm gonna de-escalate the situation. That's emotional maturity. It ain't cause I'm soft. It ain't cause I'm scared to fight somebody. It's cause like, for what? And what I've learned is that people don't often do things to you. You just happen to be the person in that space.
Damn.
You hear what I'm saying? People don't often do things to you. You just happen to be the person in the space. What that means is they would have done what they was doing
Anybody.
regardless if it was you or not. You know what I'm saying? We done been in those spaces. Our partner, our cousin, mama, somebody done died. We stopping at the gas station. Our energy already on 10. Because we feeling the type of way because of what's going on. We look, not only we wishing somebody would. But that energy ain't even for nobody in that gas station for real. But we looking to give it to somebody. So when you run into me at the gas station with that energy, I know that energy ain't even for me. It really ain't even got nothing to do with me for real.
No.
So I can escalate that energy and try to prove to you that you got me because you want what you want.
Right,
Or I can say, man, look, now you keep pressing me and pressing me, then I ain't finna not protect myself. But my point is, I ain't got to get that energy back. And I've learned that most times when you approach things that way, it often don't even have to go the way that it went.
No, it don't.
Because that energy wasn't even for you.
No, it
You know what I'm saying? Now we make the energy about us. And that's what you talking about when you saying, man, you never know what somebody going through. You never know why that man and his mama could have just died. I ain't saying he right for approaching you like that, but man, we done been in them spaces before. You know what I mean? Like, should nobody die over something that somebody feeling about something that
you took the words out of my mouth. Over somebody feeling.
You feel me?
All over a feeling. You know what I'm saying?
So I've learned that's manhood. You know what I mean? That's really talking that talk.
Man, that's really
you know what I'm
is,
saying?
man. Like that's why I appreciate you, man. Because I know with you and your story, it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's no fabricating nothing on this. You know what I'm saying? This is it. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you want to know somebody who was really thugging and really changed their life and really swapped their shit over, man, this guy really did that, man. I'm proud of him, man. I love him, my brother, man. I don't never got to see him as always love, man. I'm impressed with everything you do, man. I sit back and I root, man, from afar, man. And I just want to give you your flowers, and I want your story to be heard, man. To let everybody know, like, this guy right here is one of the ones, man, that really came from the bottom, not really at the top, man. So elevate, man. Everything you doing, man. I can't say nothing because I'm proud of you, bro. You
man, I appreciate that.
You're my guy, man. You know what I'm saying? So we go back, man. We could be talking all day because we could really talk that talk.
Definitely,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to let everybody know, man, this guy right here, go tune in. This guy's really got a lot going on, man. You got social media, man. He's not hard to find. Maybe you're looking for him. I'll make sure you find him.
Please
or
do.
if you do, it's Jason Watson.
Follow me on Facebook, Jason Watson. You can follow me on Instagram at JSON314.
Hey, man, and like I say, man, shout out to Heck, man. Shout out to everybody watching Talk That Talk who been tuning, man. Like and subscribe and share. Please comment. Please give me good intake and good insight on how you feel about it. We do take constructive criticism, and we will continue talking that talk.
Talk that talk.